Hello, this is Yvonne. So, I want to start fleshing out some of the terms that you will hear me talking about in the videos. And the first one is bankroll your life. What do I mean by bankroll your life? Bankroll your life is a philosophy where you earn money based on what brings you joy, what brings you purpose, and allows you to have more financial independence. And that's typically through entrepreneurship. And so when I think about my own life and how I desire to be able to have more financial, time, and location freedom. So, working a 9 to 5 really did not bring me joy. And the truth is, at a lot of these businesses, even Fortune 500 companies, you don't necessarily make a livable wage. And so I realized for myself that I wanted more and I wanted it to have more meaning. And so I looked at ways that I can take my skills, my passion, and my purpose to generate the funds that will allow me to have the ability to bankroll the life that I most desire and deserve. Okay? And so when I talk about bankroll your life, you will also hear me talk about the master plan. The master plan is simply you having to really think about what it is that you want for your life. What is it that you want to accomplish? What truly is your best life? Then write it down. And once you write it down, then decide to tackle it in phases. So you may write down your master plan and then you look at where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Okay? Writing it down, it's like a declaration. Okay? I think about how I experienced what that looked like when I worked for a university. And at the time, I worked under the division of the architect. I worked in capital finance, and they were deciding to revamp the campus. At the time, you can really easily drive through the campus, but they wanted to have more green space, and they were building a lot of buildings and just moving things around. And I believe it was a 20-year plan, and what amazed me is how detailed the plan was. And so they knew 10 years earlier, 5 years earlier, what they needed to execute, what they needed to do in order to be on schedule, to meet their milestones, in order to revamp the campus. So they knew 10 years ago that they were planning to buy the land on, let's say, J Street. Now, maybe the residents on J Street didn't know that they were planning to buy the block, but the university knew and they didn't say anything. They just bought the property. And we'll talk about that later on, the pros and the cons of that. But from the university's point of view, they understood that if individuals knew that they were going to buy up their property, they would have held out, they would have demanded higher prices, they may have done whatever they could to block it. So when you create your master plan, you want to keep it to yourself, be silent in a sense, keep your head down and focus on what needs to be done in order to build that best life that you desire. Okay, so also when I talk about bankroll your life, you'll also hear me talk about a portfolio. The portfolio is simply the way you're going to fund your life. And remember, it goes back to you want to be able to fund it in a way that brings you passion, purpose, and you experience joy. So when I think about a Bankroll Your Life portfolio, I think about what type of business can I start that will allow me the independence to do what I desire to do and what I love to do, and also will bring me the funds to do that. Now, when you look at your Bankroll Your Life portfolio, it may include a 9 to 5. So never feel like you can't work a job if it's ideal for you to work a job. You do what's necessary to fund your life. At the end of the day, though, you want to do things that are going to bring you more ownership or independence, as well as you want to not have to be in a position to trade your time for money, but you want to be able to have more passive income. You want to be able to have income sources or funds that will make you less dependent on an employer or a 9 to 5. So that's pretty much it in terms of the Bankroll Your Life term or philosophy. And of course, this is the effort to build the Bankroll Your Life community. So I know what I desire for myself, but what good is it unless I had others who have similar goals join in and we build a community together? And so that's where I am as a licensed CPA and as a side hustler. And you'll learn more about my side hustles later. But welcome, welcome. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section and I will respond. And take care.